I don't understand why so many people are not taking it serious. And I'm officially checking in over here at Moments with Us. You all check in. Let us know where you're watching from and how you are doing. Of course, I'm checking in from Northern New Jersey. Back to the personal situation. Let's head into this Dollar Tree over in Maplewood. Stable milk is also A+. These past few years showed me. Hey family, welcome back to another video. This is Shauna, and I'm officially checking in over here at Moments with Us. You all check in, let us know where you're watching from and how you are doing. Of course, I'm checking in from Northern New Jersey. All right, fam, so we're going to jump right into today's video. So basically, it's true. It's true. There's always plenty of warnings before destruction, right? And I'm only saying this just because the whole EBT situation that just happened, it's a sad situation. And it's really sad to see like how many people were not prepared and really was like losing their marbles over not receiving their EBT for, the few days. And I definitely understand if it's a need for it. You understand, like the disabled senior, even those vets, if it's a really like a real need for, like they said, the real, able-bodied people who can actually work and stuff like that. And then you have the non-able-bodied people, who really need it. I feel like if you're over a certain age, right? If you're disabled, or let's say you are taking care of that family member who is disabled and all your time really go to them, then okay, great. I definitely get it. And even in other situations, but that's beside the point. It was really sad to see. And I've seen people out here who actually, I'm not here to judge y'all. I'm just telling y'all a little story. I've seen people out here who actually make their money. It's all under the table, right? So it's not reported to, the SNAP office. It's not reported, so then they can still receive SNAP. Though they made their money under the table, right? They still was tripping because the EBT was cut off. How is it? And I'm just saying all of this just so the next person can be better prepared. How is it that you are making your cash, right? Some people making their cash is under the table. And then once the EBT is off, they don't have a way to feed their family. It's irresponsible, guys. Very irresponsible. And it's actually your duty, it's our duty to make sure that we have that stockpile of food in general. So if you're out there and you're shopping, you doing what you do, that's you. You're out there and you're shopping, right? You really need to make sure that you are grabbing that 20-pound bag of rice. Some people freeze it to make it last a little bit longer, to freeze out any bugs, any eggs, keep it from hatching. Grab that 20-pound bag of rice. Even if you don't consume rice like that, it's great to have, because during hard times and times like that, trust me, that 20-pound bag of rice will definitely come in handy and will last you. It's really your duty. It's my duty to tell you, just because I was told. It's really your duty to grab those canned goods. And right now is a good time. I know the EBT back on. You all know. It's been back on for a little minute. How many people chose it, used it this time around to grab a stockpile of food? That was a real warning right there for a lot of people. Grab those canned goods. That's 50 cents right now at Walmart. Grab as much as you can afford to grab. I'm not going to say as much as you can. Stock up as much as you can afford to stock up on. Like I say, even if you're setting aside a little budget, even from your EBT, of $100 a month. Because we know that little $20 ain't getting you too far no more. Not nowadays. We got to be realistic. This is real life. If you got to grab those, whatever you're finding during this holiday season, as far as food wise, those sales, those rollbacks, now is a good time to go ahead and grab in the stockpile. If you're not just grabbing, I prefer canned goods when it comes down to vegetables, just because if it comes to a time where, power wise, let's say the power is out. Honestly, most of the stuff that comes out of the can is already cooked, and you can have it straight out of the can. And if you are a true prepper or whatever, a person who's really prepared, right? You already got your little camp stoves, your grill, your stoves that run on, the propane and all of that. Y'all know we already have that. But to save that, me personally, I would prefer to have the stuff that come right out the can, because you don't really need to heat it up. Sure, it tastes better. Of sure, it feel like it's served right, but it's already cooked. It's in a can. So yeah, when you are stocking up, those are some things to think about. What is it that we have? What we don't have. What is something that can last us if I ain't got it? It's crazy to see how many families didn't have even 2 to 3 days worth of groceries in their house. And I'm talking about people that rely on the EBT and I get the full amount. I'm not talking about those of you who, like myself, who once, only received $100 and something for a family of, let's say, 4. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who actually receive that max amount of benefits that you can receive. You know, even if you don't receive benefits, having that stockpile of food is necessary. It's necessary. Having those shelf stable foods is always a must. If your kids rely on milk and cereal, right? If you say, hey, milk and cereal, and you look in your refrigerator and you notice, hey, well, we don't have no milk left. Canned milk, baby. Canned milk. I had my times when I said this story before. Let me get my little carnation milk, mix it with 1 cup of water, and the kids hardly know the difference. Get you some canned milk, that shelf-stable milk. And if you're only going to be using that 1 can of milk mixed with that 1 cup of water, it'd be great because you wouldn't have to refrigerate it, because it might not go to waste, because it's just enough, for your small little family. It's just enough. And cereal, yes, you can stockpile cereal. Yes, you can. And cereal been going on sale a lot lately, at least in my shop, right? So you want to take the time around this holiday season to look, like I said, at these sales. Go to the clearance section as well. What box goods can you get? What shelf-stable foods can you get? I always stress that big bag of rice. Even when it comes down to oats, you can get oatmeal. It takes a little to cook, but we're not talking about power outages. So assuming you do have access to your stove and stuff, or microwave, or however it is that you decide to cook. Oh, the dog done died. However it is that you cook, even the bags and the things of oatmeal goes a long way. And it's filling. It's definitely filling. So your rice, your canned goods, whether it's your canned meat, your canned vegetables, all of that. Now, when it comes down to refrigerated items, we know, like, if you lose power, it's a wrap unless you have backup. But refrigerated items that should be replaced often, of course, is your eggs, your milk, your sauces, and all of that should be replaced, of course. But when you're looking for stockpiling foods, of course, you want to make sure that you're focusing on those shelf-stable foods. We're not going to focus on that refrigerator and all of that. We're not focusing on that unless you're getting your meat. So if you're buying your meats, me personally, I prefer to shop at big box stores like Sam's Club. I'm not going to say BJ's because BJ's meat stink. So I prefer places like Sam's Club, unless my local grocery store is running the deal. But Sam's Club, they sell like the big packs of meat where I can actually split it up and put it in my freezer. This way it's more cost effective. But the need to stockpile is real. And I don't know why a lot of people ain't learned this from COVID. But the need to stockpile is real. I'm hoping that some of you guys are taking it serious and have started stockpiling more. One person that I do want to shout out, I don't even know if she's over here a lot, but we follow each other like on TikTok and stuff like that. But A. Rogers, I think it's Alyssa or Lisa. I'm probably saying it wrong. I've been seeing her do her thing with her Canon. So if you have access to that, definitely we have our Canon. Yes, someone did ask me if I do have a pressure Canon. Yes, I do. It's been a while since I used it. And honestly, my own fare been getting in the way of that. But I'm going to pull it back out. I'm going to pull that Canon right back out. I'll put that thing right back in the box, y'all. Right back in the box. That's one thing I'm not going to do. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm going to tell you how it is. I'll put that thing right back in the box. So if you do have like a pressure canner or a canner in general, and you're into canning, that's pretty great because you can then buy your meat and guess what? You can can it. This way it's preserved. It's lasting. We talk about buying those lasting foods. If you have your food dehydrator, dehydrate those foods. Get into the habit. You know, not everything that we buy is not going to be preserved. Like when it comes down to the frozen vegetables and stuff like that. That stuff is blanched already. You just throw it in the food dehydrator and you good. So we talk about like how can we make things last. Those are ways. You know, we don't really get too much into freeze drying because that crap is expensive. But you can buy freeze dried foods. It's expensive, but you can buy it. The point of it all, the need to stock up is very important, you know. Like I said, it was really sad to see once the EBT was off how many people was actually just losing it. I was happy to see, though, that a lot of cities stepped in and boosted up those pantries, you know, and handed out food because it is the holiday season. And when I say them lines was long, I shouldn't, and I couldn't stand in neither one of those lines. And you know what? Thank God I didn't have to. You know why? Because I'm a person who stocked the heck up. You know, I don't care. I stock up. He thought the dog was dead, y'all. Yeah. So if you are not a person who stock up, I'm telling you guys, get to it. If you do have a membership to them bulk stores, I once used my membership for the bulk stores for things just for like water, and snacks, right? Water and snacks because it was much cheaper, and household cleaners. And then I started looking at things because I was already good on rice. And if y'all know me, y'all know I don't cook rice as often. Like a 20-pound bag of rice in my house could last for like 8 months. And that's just me. That's not everybody's situation. Look at your own situation and then assess and proceed, right? So a 20-pound bag of a 20-pound bag of rice in my house can last for about 8 months. And probably even more. That's how much we don't cook rice. But do I have 20-pound bags of rice put away? Yes, I do, because you just never know. And it's not just because your benefits may stop or you just might not have it. You're reaching financial hardship. What if the system's shut down? You can't make a payment then for your food items or anything. Card rejected in the stores. The systems are shut down. You can't even use money for anything, you know? So, I don't know. Even times like if you're from Jersey, actually anywhere, everywhere have been seeing those natural disasters lately. You know, everywhere. Look at Jamaica. Oh my God. Ridiculous. But for Jersey, look at Sandy all them years ago. We couldn't use our cards and all of that. They wasn't even accepting cash in some stores because it was to the point some people didn't even know how to count correctly in order. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous because so many people are used to the tap and pay. You know, but even times like that is important to stockpile. You know, but all the signs is here when destruction is near. That's all. That's what I'm saying. So pay attention to the signs. Everybody gonna take a sign differently, probably. But we seeing it, and it's all piling up. Say your prayers, stock up, prep and pay. Prep and pay. Yeah, you gonna pay. Prep and pay. You gonna pay if you don't prep and pay. Okay. Prep and pay and keep it moving. Like I said, stockpile your rice. Stockpile, even if you got to do your dry beans. The good thing I like about dry beans, though, it's cost effective only if, right? Because if it's dry beans and you ain't got no power, then you ain't, what you going to do with them dry beans? And this is me being realistic. The best thing to do with them dry beans, like I said, it's important like if you do can. So if you have them bags of dry beans, you can cook them. You can them. And then you can put them away. That's when they come in hand. But if you're going to stockpile a whole bunch of dry beans and you have no way to cook them, then it's purposeless. But a lot of people do not can. And that's why I do recommend buying canned vegetables in general. Canned beans is more expensive than your regular vegetables. If you don't, if you're not a person who out there really shopping for food, canned beans will be more expensive, just to give you a heads up. But you want to make sure you buy a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And look at, each household member. You're not just buying for yourself at the end of the day. You're buying for your household. You're buying for your family. Like I said, it's ridiculous to have seen and been told that X, Y, and Z family over there didn't have 2 to 3 days worth of food when the EBT shut down because they was on to the EBT, but yet they did have money, at some point and bought X, Y, and Z. That's all. I'm gonna leave it just like that. Stockpile up some food, prep and pray. And do what you got to do because times are hard. And y'all think that was it? That was just a warning. I think that they just wanted to see how many people will flip the heck out when they shut down that EBT. I'm not playing. I think it was just a test run. Wait until they do a test run with something bigger. I'm telling y'all, continue to do what you got to do while you can. And I'm going to leave this video right here where it's at because I feel like I'm just going on and on. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this conversation and hopefully some of y'all took warning to it and understand. And if you don't, I'm going to pray for you as well. Y'all, I'm officially up out of here. How y'all feel about that whole EBT situation? What are 5 things that you recommend for a new person who's stocking up in general? What are 5 things that you recommend a person stock up on right now? If you can't afford that 20-pound bag of rice, honestly, I understand. Let us know what y'all think about that comment. Me, I personally feel like that rice, if it's not water, please get you a good water filter. Because the water been being contaminated year after year. And it's getting worse, family. Y'all want the people getting sick. Sick. So I would say water. Of course, water filter, whichever route you decide to go. That rice. Canned vegetables. Canned meat. This is just food items, guys, food items. Canned vegetables, canned meat. If you don't eat canned meat, of course, you will substitute with something else. Flour. Okay, that's 4 items. So we said rice. We said filter or water. Filter, water filter. Okay. We said rice. We said canned goods. Shelf-stable foods. Like your shelf-stable milk. I said that daggone, what you call it, that carnation milk. Oh no, we said flour, guys. I'm all messed up. Let me start over. Hold up. We said the water filter. We said rice. We said we're going to put it all as canned goods in general, right? We said flour. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put sugar, right? Brown sugar can be somewhat of a better alternative. But I'm going to put sugar for baking needs, baking purposes. So those are my 5 things that I do suggest. I'm big on the whole canned goods situation and that rice. That's up there for real. I can go without sugar just because another situation, another way we shop and the way we move. A 20-pound bag of sugar, or it's a 25-pound bags, I think. A 25-pound bag of sugar in my household could last over a year, right? So you want to shop according to how your family eat. What type you want to rotate. If you want to go big on this and you going to start to get you a nice big stockpile, You want to make sure you eat what you prep, right? And rotate. You want to make sure you pulling all, like the stores do, pull all your old stuff to the front and push your new things to the back anytime you plan to go in to replenish your stockpile. I made that mistake along when I first started. I made that mistake. I was just adding and adding and adding. And then I go finally check and see all of this stuff is, the date. Even though most things that come in a can, depending, do not expire. You can still have it. Those dates don't mean nothing most of the time. You can still eat it. You want to give it a smell and a little taste. I'll give it that smell first. If it smells rancid, the smell off, toss it out. But the expiration dates don't mean nothing. But still, you want to go ahead and be cautious and rotate. Simple as that. All right, y'all. Go ahead and continue stocking. I hear Sandy, you're also in the comments saying what you're doing. Miss Tonette, definitely. I see that you donated food to, I think, friends and family during the time when their EBT was down as well, which is great. Another reason why we stockpile. If someone is in need and I have it, I'm going to give it. That's just what it is. Happy Grandma for Ruth P. Thank you for always being here as well. Yeah, some of y'all are telling me how y'all catching themselves and catching them deals, and I know y'all using it for your stockpile. All right, fam, it's been 20 minutes, y'all. This is Shauna. If you are new here, and you did enjoy today's video, all you have to do is subscribe just like that. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends and family, and let them know y'all better be stocking up. Because times are hard, and trust me, times will get harder, and we just went through a little test run. And listen, it's all a game from them. The little controllers, we the puppets. It's all a game. Which side gonna win? Telling you, we gotta prove them. We gotta tell them, like, hey, we got this. You better chill. We got this. It's time for us to take control, okay? It's time for us to take control. Anyway, y'all, until next time, y'all, this is Shauna, and I'm officially checking out from Moments with Us. You all stay prepped, stay blessed, stay safe, and most of all, remain beautiful queens and kings. I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. So I'm going to see y'all later. Peace.